In this video, we are going to focus on measures of central tendency. More importantly, which measure of centre is most useful in a given situation? We have two that we use, the mean and the median. The mean is appropriate when no extreme values or outliers distort the picture, and the mean, as a refresher, is the average score. The median is appropriate when outliers are present, and to refresh again, the median is the middle score. However, in order to understand that, you need to understand this word outliers. An outlier is a data point that is significantly smaller or larger than the rest of the data. Let's have a look at this data here. This has been put in ascending order, which is what you should do. And we can see we have 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 6, 8, 9, and this random number here, which is much bigger. So it's larger than the rest of the data. This is the outlier. So if we're going to pick which is the best representation of the data, is it the mean or the median? If we average out these to get the mean, this number 24 is really going to throw the data. So it's much better to choose the median when the outlier is present. So what we do to get the median is the middle score. We just strike off at both ends and come to the middle score, which is 4. 4 is a much better representation than the average of these numbers. Let's take a look at these examples here. I've got two for you. The first one features 10 numbers, nothing completely random, just one a little bit slightly higher. We're going to work out the mean and the median to figure out which is the best representation of that data. The second example here is 11 numbers, and I've thrown in an outlier of 200. So we're going to calculate the mean and the median to figure out which is the best one. So first of all, the mean is the average. So I have to add up all of these numbers. Now, I'm not going to set it out 100% correctly. I'm going to do it very briefly for you. But if I add up all of those numbers, I get 270. And there are 10 numbers, so I divide by 10, and my mean, my average, is 27. The next one I have to do is calculate the median. That is the middle score. So I've got to strike off at both ends and arrive at the middle number. Now, there's two middle numbers there, so I've got to add those together and divide it by 2 because that is the average, and I'm going to get 26. Now we move on to the second example down the bottom. We're going to calculate the mean, which is the average. Now I'm going to add that 200 on to make it 470, and I'm going to divide it by 11 because there's now 11 numbers, and we're going to find that the mean is just under 43, but we'll round it to 43 in this case. The median, we're going to strike off at the ends and see what we come to, the middle number. In this case is 29. 29 is a far better representation of this data than 43. And the reason being is this number 200 has really thrown out the mean, the average, and therefore using the middle number, the middle score of 29, gives us a best representation because it's very similar to most of the data. It's much closer to the other data around it apart from this 200. So when we are looking for the best representation, whether it be the median or the mean, when we have a big outlier significantly higher or significantly lower, the median is the best representation of that data. And going back to this first example, the rule of thumb is to choose the mean over the median when you have data that does not have any outliers that are significantly larger or smaller than the rest of the data. However, you look at the 27 and the 26, and yes, they are very similar and both could be used as a good representation of the data. However, rule of thumb is choose the mean when there's no outliers, and for this one here, choose the median when there are significant outliers.